All right, good morning, everyone. Those that are watching live on Facebook, we apologize for the delay. We've had some technical difficulties, but we appreciate our IT team, both from the city and the county, working together back there. It's always good. Appreciate you. Welcome to our August 22nd, 2023 Madison County Fiscal Court meeting. This is a regular scheduled meeting located here in Richmond City Hall chambers at 239 West Main Street. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Combs.
Here.
Master Lockmiller.
Here.
Master Hughes.
Here.
Master Bakken.
Present.
Judge Taylor.
Here. At this time, I'd like to invite my friend Jim Riggs up from Big Hill Christian Church. Jim, appreciate you being here with us today. Jim's going to lead us in a word of prayer.
Good morning. Let's pray. Father God, we thank you for, of course, another day of life. We thank you, Father, for your patience, your grace, and your mercy. We also realize, Father, that there are times where you put people in places of position and authority over us. You tell us to pray for these people, to encourage them and support them. So, Lord, I pray that as we go through the proceedings here this morning, that your wisdom and discernment will be on these people. Pray, Lord, that you'll be with them as they make the decisions. Help us, Lord, to realize that you've given us all special abilities and talents to be used. And, Lord, we know that what you give us is your gift to us, and what we give back to you is our gift of worship to you. So, Lord, thank you for being with us. We thank you, Father, for your provision and protection. We ask, Lord, that you continue to provide, to direct, and protect us. And Lord, we thank you in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen. Appreciate you, Jim. Sheriff, if you will, lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Sheriff. Members of the court, y'all have had a chance to look over our previous meeting minutes. That was our meeting that was held on August the 8th down in the city of Berea. I need a motion and a second to approve.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Lockmiller.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Bakken.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is our treasurer's report. We always give our treasurer's report on our fourth Tuesday meeting. Good morning, Sarah. It's good to see you.
You too. As of July 31st, 2023, our total fund balance was $37,838,482.25. In our general fund, the revenues were at 7.2%, expenditures 4.9%. Our road fund had revenues of 1.1%, expenditures of 4.4%. The jail fund had revenues 17.7%, expenditures 6.8%. LGEA had no revenues but 1.8% in expenditures. CSEP fund was at 2.6% in revenues, 2.1% in expenditures, and 911 fund was at 1.8% in revenues and 5.9% in expenditures.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate the update. Any questions for anyone? Hearing none. Thank you. Appreciate it. Next, we have one of our own with us today to give us an update of what's going on in his world, our Madison County Coroner, Jimmy Cornelison. Jimmy, appreciate you being here today. It's always good to see you.
Thank you, Brett. As long as you can see me, you're in good shape.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Little Corner's joke there, Judge.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I like it.
Fiscal Court, County Attorney, thank you all. Just give you an update on what's been going on in our world. To date, I've had 47 confirmed overdose deaths, most of them by fentanyl or combination of fentanyl.
Did you say 47?
47. I have 2 pending toxicology reports. I also have 10 pending autopsy reports. I've done more autopsies this year than I've probably done in the last 3 or 4 combined. Now, why is that? Well, mechanisms of injuries, homicides, anybody who dies in custody, small children, infants, things like that. But it's been, I've got 10 pending. In other words, I'm waiting for the results from the ME's office before I can even sign their death certificates. So, we may know or have a good idea why they were deceased, but until I get that in black and white, I do not sign the death certificate. So I've got 10 pending, and then I've never had that in my whole career. We've had 85 bodies that have been taken to the morgue, kept in our cooler already this year. Why do we take them to the morgue? Well, again, if you hang up things like violent deaths and things like that, we take them to the morgue. We have to prepare them to go to Frankfurt. You just don't stick them in a truck and go. There's paperwork, body tagging, because it's such a big place up there in the ME's office that you have to really be careful about what you're doing up there. Also, people who don't know where the body's going to go or don't know if they're going to have the money to take care of the body. And and I tell people this all the time, when I get there, I can't leave them. We've never left anybody yet. I mean, if they say, we don't have any idea, there's no family here, there's nothing, then what do you do from there? Well, what's required by law? And I have to take custody of that body. I get a lot of help from Kentucky State Police, Meredith Bell's intelligence department up there finding next of kin. I get a great deal of help from the county attorney's office, Rodney Davis. I can't call him and not get an answer or have an answer that day, and I appreciate that. Okay, it works. We've worked real well and with indigent bodies and things like that. So we've we've handled this pretty well, but it's way more than I ever thought it would be. Just 2 weeks ago I had 9 bodies in the cooler. That's almost maximum, but I have different racks. I'm not going to go into that, how I can do things to hold their bodies. But we keep them right there, and I'm fortunate to have the facilities that we've got. I thought it was kind of interesting. I'd never looked at this issue till the other day when somebody was talking to me about it, about the CAD system, computer-aided dispatch. And every time that my phone rings for a message that the coroner's office, somebody has called my office, and then they give the message to me on the telephone. It goes out to me and also to my deputies. Or a funeral home's calling. Now, this doesn't mean that Mike Coyle's calling me, because Mike knows my phone number. These are businesses that already I've had 644 calls. It's just, there's so much involved now with the deaths and how we have to proceed with them and proceed with caution with them, and it's got to take our time and get them done. Some other things that have happened is we do have a new pickup truck, and I say that with some reluctance that it's for body transport, but as you know, Judge, it's going to have the conversion. It's going to have the space in the back. It will be made for coroner's transport, but it's 4-wheel drive. It's something we've needed for a long time, and we're just waiting for the conversion to get into our folks who put all this in for us. And hopefully we'll have it on the road by the time bad weather gets here, and I'm sure we will, one way or the other. But it's all worked out pretty well. Any questions, anything I can try to answer for you?
Any questions for
Jimmy, how are you staffed? Are you fully staffed?
Yeah. Mr. Combs, the statute reads you get 1 deputy coroner for every 25,000. Yeah, 1 for every 25,000, or any part thereof. So I'm entitled to 4. I have 3 right now, and we're doing okay with the 3. I don't just because I can doesn't mean I will. And to tell you the honest truth, that job, like in any other law enforcement job or anything like that, you really have to be careful, because we're going into people's homes, and pronouncing people dead and collecting narcotics if there is narcotics there. So I have to be careful. I'm very cautious where that's concerned. I don't want to get into something that doesn't work, but it may have to be looked at in the future. I don't know.
Brian, we budgeted for 4 actually for quite some time.
Yeah.
And here just the last couple of years, we're going to support Jimmy as a court, I would think. And so
right.
we had knocked some of that down because he hadn't filled it, and we just said that if he ever needed it, that he could come to us and we would kind of plan
Yeah, I
for
was
his
just concerned because I know how everybody, across the board is, short-staffed. I didn't know if you were as well, but.
Well, there was a situation last week where I was out and so was everybody else. When it rains, it pours. But you learn to, what's a priority? If I've got people laying in the middle of the street from a car wreck or a gunshot wound or something, that's my priority. If somebody's at the hospital, I'll just call them and say, I'll be a little bit. Nothing's going to change. And they're real good about that. But that's few and far between. We can usually rotate around. And on that line also, I want to tell you that our transportation that we worked out with Waco Fire Department, who comes and transports the bodies, and that you all pay them, it has worked out extremely well. Lots of times, and I don't mean to say, well, if you're going to a certain area, you're going to need that van. But if I'm going to a certain area, I usually know I'm going to need that van, especially, when the call comes in that drug paraphernalia or something like that, because I'm going to take all of those folks with me to do a drug screen. We've done more drug screens already this year than I think we did all last year. I mean, it's amazing. And not all of them come back positive, but about 95% of them were pretty good at gauging that. So,
Are these numbers you've given us, Jimmy, are they 7 months worth of numbers?
Yeah, that's just since January, yeah.
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 So we still have 5 more months.
Yeah. And you're talking about your holidays where, especially with drug activity. And I think one of the big things that's going on is I was talking to Major Terry back there a while ago, and I talked to him earlier. There's some drug cases. Being able to pinpoint this person was there and on the phone with this person and on the phone with this person, and I know that there have been some convictions, or at least hopeful convictions where, well, you were involved in this and this person died, and we came across something like that a couple of weeks ago when one of the deputies from the sheriff's office was there, and we did rather well by getting information. So, and that's the way that's got to work. It's not going to stop it. I'll tell you this right now. It's too much money being made. Economics. It's just it's not going to change. I can't see it changing. I'm seeing the second and third generation of people when I started on EMS, picking them up and for the same things, and you're seeing now their kids and grandkids. It's a terrible circle to get into, but they're in there. But I can call the fire department and they'll have my van there, and I hate to keep somebody laying somewhere. It's one of my pet peeves. It bothers me a lot. So and they know that, so they'll get somebody to us and make a difference.
Give me the deaths that you've seen from the drugs so far this year, and I know it may correspond with the preceding years. I don't know. What age groups are you seeing the biggest affected by this?
Right now, probably
now.
35 to 45, somewhere in there. And I apologize. I should have told you I did a total, had 69 last year. So I'm at, what did I tell you, 47. And of these 10 that are pending from the autopsy, I'm going to tell you probably at least 4 of those are going to come back. When you have a young person that dies and everybody swears up and down they don't take drugs, and then you're worried, well, has something criminally happened to them, and if we don't do something now, then I have to exhume the body later, and I sure don't want to get back into that again. So, we'll send them, and fortunately, Dr. Rawson with the ME's office, I can call him and just say, here's my fears, and he'll say, send them all. He's never questioned anything yet, so that's a big help. But yeah, it's 35 to 45, I would think, measured like Mueller is probably a good thing. Now, then every once in a while, you'll catch a 18, 19, 20-year-old, unfortunately.
Doesn't matter what age, does it?
Doesn't make any difference, And one of the most amazing things that to me, one of the things that's changed is you go to one of those death scenes, and there's other people there. If everybody hadn't split, most of the time everybody's gone. But it seems like to me everybody's got a warrant on them. I mean, I'm afraid they're going to run me. You know, I mean, they'll start going and say, well, do you know you've got a warrant? And lots of times they won't know they've got a warrant. You know, you got to go with us. It's amazing, just amazing. I can understand now why it's hard to keep up with everybody at the jail. And listen, the jail has helped me lots of times when we do have these folks who we'll find them with nothing. And I've told you this before, not a quarter in their pocket, not an ID on them, nothing else. And I will take a picture. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'll go to the jail. Y'all know, oh yeah, we know this person. So starts the ball rolling right there. So it's a big help. I lean on a lot of people to accomplish what I think the coroner's office needs to accomplish.
So you don't think we've hit critical mass yet, that this problem is continuing to grow?
Well, it's not going down. So I have to, and here's the thing about it, Magistrate Hughes. You know, the pill mill, we thought we'd really done something good, and I was involved in that with some cases in Florida, and we nailed some folks down there, and nailed a doctor down there for $30 million in cash, all this sort of thing, because they'd gone in there and they'd come back to our county and died. So, and you know, there's new things on the horizon. You're hearing now about new drugs and things. So, you know, we'll mellow off maybe a little bit, then all of a sudden it'll spike again. Something new and wonderful's on the street. I just don't know who they get to try it the first time. It's here, this is brand new, you know. Or I mean, how can you buy something from somebody who, when they sell it to you, tells them, be careful because this has already killed 1 or 2. Duh. And we've had those conversations. But they've been told that. It's just amazing. And I mean, I feel sorry for them. What are you going to do?
It's one of the conversations I've had with my 2 19-year-olds is that going out, don't drink anything and don't get anything while you're in college from someone that you don't know. And even if you know them, don't do anything with it.
That's right.
Because you just don't know today.
Right. You have no idea what's going on. I agree with that 100%. It's just, you know, we're kind of in a little rut right here. Hopefully we'll come out of it, but I'm not holding out for much. Anyone else?
Well, Jimmy, I want to thank you, too. I mean, just from you allowing me to come along with you, showing me kind of what you all go through back, I guess it was on January 1st, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yeah, that there was an animal that was there, and so we couldn't get a hold of animal control, and so I was just a few miles down to the house, and so I just told Jimmy I'd come up, and man, I commend you, man. I mean, I appreciate it. And a lot of people in this community, I don't think they realize what you all see and what y'all have to deal with.
Well, you saw that firsthand because that was been dead a couple of weeks, I think, if I remember correctly.
You know, I think we've all here as adults, we've probably dealt with death in some way. You know, we picture death sometimes as our grandmothers or grandfathers or parents, laying in a hospital bed or dying peacefully in their bedroom.
With dignity.
But I don't think a lot of us have ever had the opportunity to see some of the things that I got to see with you the other day and what you see on a daily basis. And it really breaks my heart. But I appreciate you and appreciate your team and what all you all do.
And I would like to say this to any of the magistrates or anyone in here. It's good if you want to come visit the morgue when you walk in, instead of me bringing you in. So I've got a great facility, I'm telling you. When I go across the state and deal with other coroners and see what they have or what they don't have, my wife, even one of the rooms over there, fixes it up where I can bring families in there. They don't have to walk through and see the cooler or see the van, because what runs through their mind. My loved one was in that van and all this. Bring them through another door, set them in there, a little peaceful setting. And anytime you would like to see the facility, it's yours. See that facility, you just call me, and I'll be glad to take you through there. It doesn't take long, but compared to where we started, it's a big deal. And without the cooler, we had I went to in-service in Rowan County 2 or 3 weeks ago, and was talking to some of the coroners, and they were talking about what they were having to do with bodies and this and that. And I said, you know, guys, get a cooler. Well, we can't get one. Well, then you can. You just got to give them numbers. I said, are you communicating? You know, but that doesn't happen always, so that's up to them.
Well, our cooler turned out good. You know, when we first came in, Tom, that cooler was duct tape together.
Yeah, it was,
You
yeah.
know, it had duct tape in some of the
Yep.
joints and stuff, and so, we've been able to do that. So
Oh,
good.
it's excellent.
Yep.
Anyone else? Anybody?
Go ahead.
Out of respect to Jimmy, I've known him all my life. I don't know how he does what he does. But, he gave a number of 47 overdose deaths. Madison County,
Hey, Steve, hey, hit sheriff's button. There we
with
go.
Madison County, with Berea, Richmond, State Police, the law enforcement agencies that work hand in hand with Jimmy. He never gave he gave a figure of 47 overdose, but he never mentioned the traffic accidents that we have, the fatals that we have there. He never mentioned the suicides that we have here in Madison County.
Which are up this year tremendously for some.
Natural deaths.
Yep.
Accidental deaths, farm accidents, things like this. It's constantly taking place. And the murders that we've had. You know, we have a lot of business, and unfortunately, Jimmy is on each one of those.
We're also, and Sheriff Cole, thank you very much. Also, we're, you know, again, and I've talked to the hospital about this. I know that there's some that have fallen through the cracks again, where the patient has been admitted to the hospital. They come in as an overdose. They're put in the unit, and they eventually die from whatever, liver failure, brain damage, whatever. Well, it's a lot easier, I guess, whoever the physician is, you know, to go by that diagnosis. In fact, I was called on one probably 3 weeks ago, and I got to thinking about it after they called. They called to tell me. Then I called back, and I said, is this an overdose? I said, well, they were brought in as an overdose. Well, there's still a coroner's case, so I really don't know what the numbers are or how many go to UK. You know, traffic accidents just like what we've had this last weekend. So, you know, the numbers, but my numbers, I don't inflate them. I don't deflate them. I can give you a name for every one of those 47 and where they died.
You know,
Tom.
Jimmy, I was just going to say that, you know, over the last 9 years since we've been in office, we've addressed this issue over and over and over. And, you know, for the millions upon millions of dollars that have poured into not just the state of Kentucky, but here in Madison County for treatment facilities and various different things to counteract that, it still is just an ongoing battle that
Yes, sir.
it is, I don't see an end to it.
I don't
really don't
either.
see an end to it. You know, we think we're making a lot of progress, and we think we're making a lot of headway, and we just ended the last conference for them, which brought millions of dollars to us.
Right.
And a lot of good things happened from that.
Right.
But still, you know, you're looking at 47 deaths from the same thing that we've been fighting for.
Right.
You know, it makes me wonder sometimes, well, what if that hadn't have came? Would your number have been doubled?
Right.
I don't know. The thing that I see that I have concern about is that it's just like police officers and deputies in our jail. It takes a special person to do that job. It takes an exceptional person to be a coroner.
Thank you.
The things that you do and the things that you see, and I'm not talking about you, but I'm also talking about your deputies. We really, I don't think, have a good figure on the amount of time
Right.
that is involved when you go out on a case like that. I know one of the things that I didn't really talk about it at that point in time, but one of the things that I was shocked about when we were looking at our budgets was the low pay that coroner deputies receive. I mean, I was just kind of like, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
So, you know, I just said all of that just to say that we appreciate you and your staff and
Right.
the things that they do for the county, and if we can do anything at all to assist you with that, you please don't hesitate to let us know.
And I appreciated your conversation about that before. And one of the things that seems like it just it's more so than not, because just recently I had 2, and they just gotten out of rehab. Been out of rehab less than a week, and they're dead. You know, now I think of that as maybe when they get out of rehab, they have nowhere to go. They have to go back to the same group. They have, you know, to survive. I don't know, but it's, I mean, and I talked to the parents and I said, well, they just got out of rehab. You know, they're not using. Well, yeah, they are. So I don't know.
Anyone else?
Just thank you for what you do.
Thank
Appreciate
you
you,
all.
Jim. Appreciate you a lot. If you need me, holler. Next is the Special Purpose Governmental Entities presentation of their ad valorem rates. We'll get started with Amanda today. Amanda, are you good? Come up. Amanda's with our Extension Office, Amanda Sears. Appreciate you being here today, Amanda.
Thank you. This a little bit hard to follow that. Thanks for having me today. I'm Amanda Sears from the Madison County Extension Office. I'm the horticulture agent there. The Extension Office District Board voted to levy the compensating rate for the 2023 year, and those rates are: the real property is 1.8, the personal property is 2.83, and the motor vehicle is 1.3. Just wanted to thank you all for your support. You're always supportive every year when we come here and throughout the year. Are there any questions?
Any questions? All right, hearing none. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank
Appreciate it. Next, we'll have Tanya Dosselman, and she is, congratulations, Tanya. She's our new Director of EMS.
Yes.
So, appreciate
Hello.
you being
Thank
here.
you for having me today.
Don't get thrown right into the fire,
I
right?
know, right away. I started August 1st, and here I am, right?
Yeah.
So, again, thank you for having me. Over the last several years, our organization has been pleased to accept the compensated rate while still maintaining an excellent service for our community. We've increased our services that we provide while still maintaining a tradition of excellence. And so this year we are pleased to also announce that we're going to accept the compensated rate again this year for the citizens.
Yep, and if it's all right, just so for the record, real property will be 4.3, personal property will be 6, and motor vehicles will be 6.
Yes,
Yep.
thank you.
All right. Any questions? All right, thank you. Appreciate it, Tony. Next, we have Nikita. Good morning, Nikita. Nikita is our Director of Madison County Health Department, and Nikita, I would say, is still a little new, I would say.
Fairly new. This is my 13th month?
Yeah.
14th month, somewhere around there. So good morning to you all. Thank you for having me. The Board of Health voted to adopt the compensating rate, so that's new for the health departments in the last couple of years. So we'll have 4.7 cents per $100 of the assessed real property value, and then personal property and motor vehicles will remain the same at 5 cents per $100,000 or per $100. Any questions?
Thanks, Nikita.
All right, thank you all.
Appreciate it. All right, next we have Christina Cornelison, Madison County Public Library Director. Hi, Christina. Good to see you.
Good morning. It's good to see you all too. We, for the second straight year, have been able to lower our rates while also expanding services. So that's a very lucky spot that we are in. So our board voted to adopt a real rate of 5.1, personal of 5.1, and our motor vehicle is still 3.5.
Any questions? All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thanks.
it.
So I do have one question. So they didn't take the comp rate, they actually lowered. Is that correct?
Yes. So we adopted a lower than comp rate.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. And then next is the Red Lick Watershed. I'm going to read the Red Lick Watershed today. Real property is 5 cents. And that's what Red Lick, those that live in that actual Red Lick Watershed have that actually on their tax bill. And the Red Lick Watershed is actually made up of 3 different counties, just FYI for everybody. It's part of Estill, part of Jackson, and then Madison. The majority of that is in Madison. And then for all those Madison County residents that live in the Red Lick Watershed, it'll be 5 cents. All right. thank you all very much. And as much as I know that you all would love to stay at a Madison County Fiscal Court meeting, I'm sure you all got lots of things to do. So before we move on, if you all want to slip out, I'll let you.
Hey, Judge, can I brag on the
I'll let you.
Can I brag on the library just a little bit?
Absolutely.
I do. I want to brag on you because, you know, I've been watching taxing districts for a long time. It's been a special pet peeve of mine, and what y'all have been doing and lowering your rates over the past several years. I recognize it and I appreciate it.
Well, listen, I really, really appreciate that. It's important to me to be able to provide excellent service and provide enough service without creating additional burden. So that's something that, you know, is extremely important to me. It's important to my staff and to my board.
I don't know that many people appreciate that, but I do. So, I recognize
well, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank
before I say a little something, we're fortunate to have that because these library boards in some counties in the past have created large sums of cash that just sit and are bound, tied, can't do anything, can't be out in the economy moving around. So Master Hughes, I appreciate it very much.
And we don't want to be sitting on extra money ever.
You don't hear the words you said put together to provide services and not provide an additional burden, because that's what it is. You're taking money out of the citizens' pockets.
Exactly, right. And we want to be able to account for, justify every dime that we take in. So, yeah.
And you know, for the other taxing districts too, I want to recognize you as well, because you're holding steady and doing great with what you're doing with revenue that you're generating. So I appreciate what you all are doing too, without raising rates. But I just wanted to especially recognize the library because I see it and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And I think it's important too. I know this, especially for the health department. You know, there's a lot of liabilities that some of our SPGEs have due to retirement costs, long-term retirement costs. And I think a lot of times citizens don't understand that because it's kind of one of those hidden expenditures. And you know, all of our boards, you know, are having to hold money back for some of those potential costs that could hit them. And so sometimes when you look at their reserves might be fairly hefty, but you don't realize that they have a liability out there with the retirement system for all those that maybe have already retired. And so it's just a little educational piece there for that. So, all right. Don't look at just part of the picture. You got to look at the whole picture. Yep. So, all right. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Good to see you all. Appreciate it. All right, next is second reading of ordinance 2023-12. This is our district boundaries reapportionment. Jill, good morning.
Good morning. This is an ordinance relating to the reapportionment of magisterial district boundaries located within Madison County, Kentucky. This ordinance does supersede ordinance 11-12, and this is a second reading. Whereas constitutional and statutory provisions require the fiscal court and other legislative bodies located within the Commonwealth of Kentucky to reapportion representative districts and boundaries following the decennial census of the United States. And whereas the fiscal court previously appointed 3 citizen commissioners to initiate reapportionment procedures in accordance with the provisions of KRS 67.04, and the fiscal court of Madison County having now received the report and recommendations of said commissioners. And whereas Madison County Fiscal Court does wish to reapportion their magisterial districts in accordance with the guidelines and recommendations of the reapportionment committee. And whereas it appears that the report of the Reapportionment Committee is based on the 2020 federal census population of Madison County, Kentucky, as required by KRS 67.045, and that the report of the commissioners is further based on the statutory standards that magisterial districts are to be compact, contiguous, and nearly as equal in population as is reasonably possible. Now, therefore, it be ordained by the Madison County Fiscal Court, Commonwealth of Kentucky, as follows: that the magisterial district boundaries located within the County of Madison, Commonwealth of Kentucky, are hereby reapportioned in accordance with the attached maps describing each of the 4 magisterial districts for Madison County, Kentucky, which are hereby designated as Attachment 2 and Attachment Number 3 to this ordinance, the terms and depictions of which are hereby incorporated by reference as though fully set out herein. That it is further resolved that the magisterial districts described herein are compact, contiguous, and as nearly as equal in population as reasonably possible. that by adopting this ordinance, Madison County Fiscal Court does hereby accept the report of the Reapportionment Committee consisting of appointed commissioners Bill Buchanan, Donna Arlene Ramsey, and Mitch Brown, along with County Clerk Kenny Barger by virtue of his position. This ordinance shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption.
Thank you, Jill. Y'all heard the second reading of ordinance 2023-12. What is the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve ordinance 2023-12, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Thank you all very much. Any discussion?
So all I want to say about this is that for the last 9 years, I've had this precinct, 1,186 people, and I appreciate everyone's support during that time and trying to get things done over there in your precinct. You're getting a great magistrate. All of us work together. Please don't hesitate to call me if you need something, or Brian. You know, we'll be glad. It'll take us a while to get everything sorted out there and where the exact roads are and this and that and the other. But we appreciate everyone out there and everything that you've done for us. Seems like there was one more thing I want to say about that. I guess I'm done, Judge. There you go.
If it comes back to you,
I will. Thank
you got between now and the end of court to remember.
Yeah, I look forward to serving this district as well as the ones that already serve, and look forward to meeting new people. I've met some people already and talked about doing some meetings and stuff. Judge, if it's possible, our next town hall, I'd like to, try to schedule it in that area and to do a town hall meeting and, hear people's concerns and go from there. I know they've been served well. I know Tom works diligently to serve everybody in his district, and I hope to continue to do the same.
Sure. The question I had, that I was thinking about, Judge, was, I guess for Kenny, how do the folks in this precinct know now that they are in the first district?
It's totally up to us. I mean, it goes from broadcasting this on social media and everything to sending out mail. It's just up to what fiscal court wants to, what kind of effort they want to put into that.
Yeah, and obviously all the maps and things, the lines will actually get changed. We'll have GIS be doing some of those things. And so we can put together a little, I think, pretty easy social media campaign if that's the pleasure of the court, and push those maps out. I don't know if there's any way with algorithms if we can direct it to residents in that area, so we can make sure that they get it. But we can do that. It's not a problem. And as far as having a town hall, Brian, it can't be the next one because we've already got it scheduled in Union City.
I'm just saying for the first
district. Yeah, but we'll be glad to try to coordinate that in. We'll have to try to find a good place out there that we could do it, especially getting into the winter. I don't know about being indoors, but maybe in the spring or something we could have it.
The next available one we have in the first district, I know that others have already scheduled, and they've been good, and we encourage people to come to all of them.
Yeah.
I remember going through one of these reapportionment deals several years ago, and I took a pretty good spanking in the reapportionment. It come my turn to vote, I said 1,000 times no. Of course, only just one county though. So it's pretty good when you can, when you can be congenial and in this reapportionment, because sometimes it's a give and take.
Yeah.
And it's a big deal too. Then when you consider that the first district now runs from the top of Big Hill to Paint Lick, so that's a huge area to cover, and that's a lot of work for Brian. So.
Yeah.
I think Tom said it best though. Is this court works together, and I don't care what district you're in. We all get to vote and have a say on what happens in Madison County, and I want what's best for the county. I know you all do as well, and we're going to continue to work together regardless of what district it is in.
Yep. Any other comments? This is the second reading, so I want to open it up this time for anybody public that would like to speak on behalf of this ordinance. Or if we had any Facebook comments. No, we're good.
We didn't receive any comments on this one after the advertisement and email either.
Okay, that's good. Well, if there's no other comments, no questions, concerns, call the roll.
Master Lockmiller,
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Hey, thank you, Jill. Appreciate it. Next, first reading of ordinance 2023-13. This is land use and development regulations. And I thought somebody might sing a
Good morning.
song of celebration here.
It's
We
a good
finally
day.
made it.
It's a good day.
It is a good day, buddy.
It's a good day because this is the beginning of the end of a very long process. And I know it was a long process because when I started it, I was sitting at my kitchen table on a laptop because it was COVID.
Yeah.
So that gives you an idea how long we've been working on this. And I'm talking about the comp plan and the regulation update. But we're finally here, so we won't dwell on why it took so long. But this is ordinance number 2023-13, an ordinance relating to the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky adopting new land development and subdivision regulations. Be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Madison County, Kentucky, whereas the Madison County Office of Planning and Development and Madison County Planning Commission identified a need to update and rewrite the regulations, rules, and ordinances relating to land use, development, and subdivision in Madison County, Kentucky. And whereas the Madison County Office of Planning and Development, at the direction of the Fiscal Court, caused to be drafted a comprehensive document, the Madison County Land Development and Subdivision Regulations, there's a typo there, a copy of which are here attached here too and incorporated herein to that end and effect. And whereas the Madison County Planning Commission held a public hearing on Tuesday, August 15th, 2023, to consider said Madison County Land Development and Subdivision Regulations and whether to recommend same to be adopted as the new land use and subdivision regulations for Madison County. And after discussion of the same, the Commission found that adopting same would be in the interest of Madison County and in furtherance of good governance, development, and the goals of the comprehensive plan. And whereas the Commission voted unanimously to recommend to the Madison County Fiscal Court to adopt the Madison County Land Development and Subdivision Regulations. Now, therefore, be it ordained and enacted by the Fiscal Court of the County of Madison, Commonwealth of Kentucky, that the findings and recommendations of the Madison County Planning Commission are hereby adopted, and that the Madison County Land Development and Subdivision Regulations are adopted to replace and be the land use and subdivision regulations for Madison County, Kentucky, replacing all previously adopted land use and subdivision regulations. The Madison County Office of Planning and Development shall make the appropriate textual changes to the Madison County Planning and Zoning Regulations to effect this change, and this ordinance shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption.
Thank you, Bert. Y'all have heard ordinance, first reading of ordinance 2023-13. What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve ordinance 2023-13, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2023-13. Any discussion?
Bert, thank you. I know there was a lot of work went into that, the comprehensive plan, that's one piece of it. There was a lot of people that were involved in that, and I want to thank all those folks as well to get us to the point where we are right now today.
Yeah.
You asked me this morning if I had had the chance to read that document. I have not in full. It's 175 pages worth of a lot of information.
Do you know everything
Well, I
in it,
have.
Bert?
I've read it. I mean, I've not done it in one sitting, but I've had my eyes on all of it at some point or another, and I'll do that again between now. And I encourage you all to at least flip through it. I mean, it is a good document. It really is. Compared to where we are and where we've been to where we're going, this document's so much better. It's searchable. I mean, when we get online, you'll be able to put a keyword in and search for whatever you're looking for. It's editable. I'm not sure if that's a word, but
It sounds good.
It's easy to fix if and when, and we will find typos and things, and we'll be like, why did we do that? And it'll be like, well, because it's 175 pages and we just missed it. But it's easy to change. It's not a big drawn-out process. It's very user-friendly, where the current document is not. A property owner can look up their property and see what it's zoned, and they can go to this document and see what they can do with their property. The other one, you could do that, but you had to know how to read it, and it was a nightmare. So I'm so excited to be able to switch to this and start using this with all the development that's coming in the county, commercial development, at the interstate exchanges and exits and the wet dry vote and Madison County, you know, it's growing, and we're long overdue for this update. But I am proud of this document. I encourage y'all to read it. Please, if you find any typos or content questions or issues, please let me know, because we want to put forth the best document we can.
And I said that to say before the next court I will read it. So.
Yeah, and I appreciate you thanking me, but it was a group effort. My team, our steering committee, everybody that was involved in it, we really had a diverse group of people in the community that came in and helped us write this document, as well as TSW. They'll be here at the next meeting. The judge wanted to hold off and have them come to the second reading, because normally that's when we have a little more discussion. So if y'all do have questions, they'll be here to answer that at the second reading, and then any public comments we can address then too. But I'm excited to get this done.
Yeah, looking back, Bert, at this, just looking back a little bit at the past, Tom and I, when we came in 2015 together, that was one of the things we had to do as soon as we came in was, because every 5 years you're supposed to either put a stamp of approval on your comp plan. And so obviously we were very green, and so we just kind of updated the maps and said, hey, we'll really put a focus in on the comp plan in 2020.
And that's what we've done, for sure.
And that's what we did. We just didn't know it'd take us this long because you didn't know you were going to have a pandemic.
Yeah.
And then to your point, with some of the changes in just laws and uses and things like that, even at the state level, legislative level, of things that they're trying to invest in for a whole state, we kind of postponed some of our decision making because we wanted to make sure that we had that in our plans and our regs.
That's right.
And the way the comp plans, we have this governing body, we see some pushback a lot of times when it comes from developments, and we've all had to deal with it here. But the process of the comp plan, if citizens would participate when they're supposed to participate, we wouldn't have these opportunities for people to be upset. Potential lawsuits go away and some of those things. And so, in the future, I would encourage citizens to really get involved in the comp plan and participate, because it is the roadmap for the direction that we're going to develop our community, right? And how we're going to grow our community. And so as an elected official, I want their feedback. But when we did our comp plan this time, I think we had about 4 citizens that showed up at our public hearing, but yet when we get into somebody wanting to develop a subdivision in a part that's part of our comprehensive plan and vision, we could have 30 people show up in a fiscal courtroom.
Yeah.
Well, if that same 30 people had showed up at our public hearing of our comp plan, then maybe that area would have had a different vision, correct?
That's correct. And I can promise you nothing that we're doing today is going to change that.
Yeah,
We're still going to have controversy, and people are still going to dread seeing me walk into the fiscal court meeting because it's probably controversial. But this makes the development process more user-friendly, and that's a good thing. Makes my job easier too.
I love it.
We're fortunate in Madison County because we have the structure for growth, but there are counties east of us that don't have comprehensive plans. They don't have land use regulations. And there's bargain property there for people coming from California or other states and buying up property, and there's no regulations on them.
Yeah. And they're seeing some of the problems that go with that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can drive through these counties and see 8 mobile homes up the side of a mountain with a gravel road and no detention or retention or drainage. And, the county, I've actually been contacted by a couple of county judges in rural eastern Kentucky counties and say, how do y'all do this? Where do I start? How can we get something on the books that helps protect us from some of this stuff? So.
Yeah, this process was and I appreciate you all support. I appreciate the previous fiscal court too, because this was an investment for this community.
Sure.
And this document, to hire Taylor Syker Williams, and so appreciate it. It's good, good stuff. This is the first reading. Any other questions or comments?
I know that first comprehensive plan, when it was first proposed, it cost some magistrates their position because of the stand they took. People didn't want to be told what they could do. And but as you grow, you got to have some controls.
Yeah, that's good. This is a first reading. For any citizen that would like to make public comment, please feel free to email the comment to comments@madisoncountyky.gov. A copy of this ordinance will be available on our website at www.madisoncountyky.gov.us. That's not changing? Okay, US. All right. I get confused because they tell me one thing and then it's something else. And so, .us. Sorry. Under the transparency tab. And also, you're welcome. Our plan is to have the second reading at our next fiscal court meeting, so please look for the advertisement in the newspaper But you're welcome to, if you have any comments, public comments, you're welcome to show up at our next fiscal court meeting as well. So, call the roll, sir.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Bachman?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Bert. Appreciate your hard work on that. It's good. All right, next, Resolution 2023-100, Madison County 2023 ad valorem rates and 2024 motor vehicle watercraft rates. Jill.
Good morning. A resolution to adopt Madison County 2023 ad valorem rates and the 2024 motor vehicle and watercraft property tax rates. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is legally required to adopt 2023 ad valorem rates in accordance with KRS 132.0225. And whereas Madison County Fiscal Court desires to accept the compensating rate for real property. And whereas Madison County Fiscal Court also desires to accept the tangible personal property and inventory rates set based on the compensating rate. And whereas the compensating rate formula for real property will be set at 7.1 cents per 100. And whereas the compensating rate formula for tangible personal property and inventory rates will be set at 9 cents per 100. And whereas the 2024 motor vehicle and watercraft property rate will be set at 10 cents per 100. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the Judge Executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Jill. You all have heard the reading of Resolution 2023-100. What's the pleasure of the court?
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion?
Just to say, Judge, that we want folks to understand that by taking the compensating rate on this on their real property, that we're actually lowering, it was 7.3 last year, 7.1 this year.
Yep. It's $12, Tom, is what it's been since we've been here, since 2015. We've lowered property taxes. It used to be $83, and this year it'll be $71. And I do it based off of $1,000 that you pay to the Madison County Sheriff's Department when you pay your property taxes. If you pay $1,000, you used to pay $83 to the fiscal court portion, and this year you'll pay $71. So it's a difference of $12. Any questions?
A decrease.
Decrease, yeah. It's less, yeah. All right, hearing none, call the roll.
Master Bachman?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. All right, next is Resolution 2023-101. This is a litter abatement grant funds for calendar year 2024. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning. Resolution 2023-101, a resolution for application and administration of calendar year 2024 Kentucky Energy and Environmental Cabinet Division of Waste Management Litter Abatement Grant Funds. Whereas the Kentucky Energy and Environmental Cabinet Division of Waste Management calendar year 2024 litter abatement grant allows units of local government to apply for litter abatement grant funds and use for the first reason would be direct expense as defined in 401 KAR 49080 Section 3 incurred during calendar year 2024 associated with anti-litter control programs. 2, for litter cleanup on public roads as provided in KRS 224.43-505. And number 3, to meet the requirements established in KRS 224.43-345. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky desires to make an application for calendar year 2024 litter abatement grant funds, and whereas the County of Madison, Kentucky wishes to authorize the Judge Executive and/or his designees to make application for calendar year 2024 litter abatement grant funds, and if the application is successful, to enter into an agreement with the Division of Waste Management to administer the calendar year 2024 litter grant abatement award to execute any documents which are deemed necessary to facilitate and administer the award, to act as the authorized correspondent for this award, and whereas the amount of funding available per county will be calculated in accordance with statutory requirements, and the amount of grant funding each county is eligible to receive will not be determined until after November 1st, 2023, when all applications are received by the Division of Waste Management. And whereas there is no local match required, Now therefore be it resolved this 22nd day of August 2023 by Madison County, Kentucky, the judge executive and/or his designee is hereby authorized to execute and furnish all required documentation, including memorandum of agreement, as may be required for the furtherance of the above referenced project, and to act as the authorized correspondent for said project.
Motion approved resolution 2023-101, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2023-101.
This is a good grant, Scott.
It
Thank
is.
you for everything that you've done and your past work on that. I think it was what, like 65,000 last year? Is that
Yeah.
pretty close to that?
Yeah, and we're entering into our second phase now, so we're starting at the first of next month, and we'll go all the way to the end of October doing the second phase.
It helps a lot of our local community and organizations to do fundraisers, and the real bonus from it is it helps beautify the county, and we appreciate everybody's work on that.
I think at some point in life, we've all probably been guilty of throwing something out the window. Something blowing out your back of your bed of your truck or whatever, but when you actually have to get out there and pick up that road, it's not easy work. And so if anything, it also educates those volunteers and organizations that actually go out and pick up the roadway. And hopefully it teaches people the importance of not doing it.
If you ever had to pick it up one time, you sure think different
You do.
about it from that point on. That's a fact.
Yes, you do. Hey, on the river as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott, for all the work you do and for going after this grant. And I know several months ago I was getting calls constantly about litter and stuff in my district, and we thank the inmates and stuff for getting out and doing that, and Brandon and his crew and all the crews that work to make that happen and make our county look good. But we really appreciate you.
All right, anyone else? We do have a motion and a second. So hearing none, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Pastor Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Pastor Buchan?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thanks, Scott. Next, resolution 2023-102. This is Sam Jones Road Bridge Beams Bid Award. Scott.
Resolution 2023-102, a resolution for the Madison County Fiscal Court to approve a bid award for Sam Jones Bridge beams. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is required to approve all bids for projects in accordance with the administrative code, and whereas the bids were needed for Sam Jones Road Bridge beams in Richmond, Kentucky, and whereas the bid notice was properly posted and one bid was received, opened, and reviewed, and whereas the Madison County Road Department recommends awarding the bid for the beams to Central Kentucky Industrial Incorporated in the amount of $53,317. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
I make a motion.
All right.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2023-102. Any conversation, any discussion?
I'm glad to see CKI get the job, local company.
Yeah.
That's good.
This will be the road department's third structure in, what, a month, 2 months?
2 months.
2 months. I think we started the 1st of July on Crutcher, and then started 1st of August on Bill Eads, and now we'll end with Sam Jones. And we knock on wood, cross our fingers, our toes, and hopefully we don't have any bridge issues for a while. So, but I appreciate all the hard work of the road department, our team. They've done an excellent job to get those bridges back up.
They've really done good.
Yeah.
Where is this next road?
It's a couple miles on down the
Yeah.
road.
So it actually, Steve, it's funny, Sam Jones really it crosses over a railroad track off Red House, goes around a sharp curve, and the bridge, the left side of the bridge in the water is your district, and the right side of the bridge in the water is Billy Ray's district.
I thought it was Billy Ray's. That's the reason I asked. I thought he
But
did
it's
two
right
in
on.
1 year. What the hell's going on?
It's right on line. Yeah, right on your own.
No, I'm just teasing. Good.
Your dividing line, yeah.
50-50.
Yeah. So.
You can have
I know the other two look great. Scott, your crew
Yeah,
did
they
a
did a great
great job, and You know, I wish we could sell that service to another county, bridge building, but we definitely need.
But you just soon not do that.
Just soon not do that. I need them for other things.
Yeah, we all need them for other things, but we're thankful, that these are done.
Yeah, we really have some talented employees.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes too, we don't realize how much money, that saves when we're doing them ourselves. I know when we were talking about Bill Lee's road, when we got a price on it, it seemed like it was like $350,000.
$365, and we're gonna replace it for about $100.
Yeah, so it's a big savings to the county now it takes us away from doing other things, but it's worth saving that kind of money. So.
And I hope citizens understand that as well too. I mean, there's been a lot of projects that we wanted to get done that's got pushed out because of these. But, you know, we're looking after the taxpayer dollar, and your crew has done an excellent job, and we're going to get back on these projects. Just be patient with us.
Yeah. And something else to add to that, Brian, is the citizens don't understand, but I actually found money for these projects. So we're going to replace 3 bridges in Madison County with a total cost to us of about $40,000. The rest of it is in money, grants, special money, special projects that the taxpayers are not having to shell out the money.
That's awesome. Can't thank you enough.
Good work. Anyone else? We do have a motion and a second to approve 2023-02. 2023-02. Call the roll.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Bodkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. All right, thanks, Scott. Appreciate you, man. Resolution 2023-103. This is our Rave Mass Notification System Agreement. Chris, good morning.
Good morning. Resolution 2023-103, a resolution approving an agreement with Rave Mobile Safety for a mass notification system. Whereas the Chemical Stockpile Emergency Preparedness Program requires that alert and notification systems to ensure public safety. Whereas Madison County Emergency Management Agency, EMA CSEP, understands the importance of having a critical communication and a data platform to help save lives. And whereas Madison County EMA CSEP wishes to enter into an agreement with Rave Mobile Safety for a mass notification system as planned and budgeted through the federal CSEP program. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and or his designee to negotiate and execute contracts on behalf of the county.
Thanks, Chris. Members of the court, you all have heard resolution 2023-103. What's the pleasure of the court?
Make a motion, approved, resolution 2023-103.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just have a question. Where do you see this headed in the future? So we know CSEP September, if they stay on schedule, they're finished with the chemicals on hand, with the except for a few thousand leakers. But where do you see the long range going on this?
So that's an excellent question, and what you see here in front of you is that post-CSEP strategy that the court and the judge's office has been taking. The existing contract with Everbridge was $29,500 to provide the same services. So the county and Tim and I and Jill had a couple meetings with some other vendors to see what the options look like. Rave is obviously, if you look through the documentation, not the cheapest option, but it is the best option. Why we feel it's the best option is that it's EKU uses the same platform to do their mass notification to their community as well, and there's opportunity for integration and collaboration between the two entities in a post-CSEP world. The county has identified that it would like to keep a mass notification system post-CSEP, so an effort was made to go find a cheaper option, and Rave is the most effective use of the funds for the system that we need.
Good. What kind of notifications does this include, Chris?
This is mass call down. So actually Rave, in the Everbridge system we have today, does the same stuff, but obviously it was almost $30,000. Once a year, the Rave system will go out and grab the landline 911 phone numbers and add those to the system automatically. Citizens can auto-enroll themselves through email and or text as well to get those notifications. So anytime there's an Amber Alert or there's weather or there's a CSEP event, anything like that, or anything we want to manually initiate, we can do that. The cool thing about Rave is in the old Everbridge system, you had to go online and fill out this long form to get into the system. The Rave has a quick SMS message. So basically we'll create a code and they'll text, you'll see this a lot, text help to 10457 or whatever. We'll have a specific code and that allows citizens to auto-enroll themselves quickly. They don't have to go through this whole process of filling out a form. They can just easily send a text message and get them in there. So mainly the big purpose will be all for CSEP, and then we will use it for employee communication as well. CSEP uses this during any kind of exercise when they alert partners that are coming to play in those CSEP exercises. This system is exercised through that to get them and say, hey, we're having an exercise, you have 15 minutes to respond or whatever it may be. So that's how we utilize it, is primarily for CSEP for any kind of notification. The system actually has the ability to draw polygons on a map. So if you have a diesel spill and you need a 5-mile radius of notification to people, you can do that real easily. Draw that map on there, and anybody that's got a 911 landline phone or has signed themselves up in that 5 miles will get a notification of what to do. And then in the CSEP case, it actually has the zones already set up in the map. So for some reason, Tim and his group only need to notify Zone 2E. They just click that button, and it'll only send notification to those folks. So this is all text message and phone call driven.
All right. Any other conversation? Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Bakken?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you.
And just FYI, Chief, I think you've got a spot in this to sign, so, after court. Thanks, Chris. Next is Resolution 2023-105. It's a KCO 2023. Resolution 2023-104, Emergency Operations Center UPS Replacement Bid Award. Chief,
Morning.
getting ahead of myself.
Resolution 2023-104, a resolution for the Madison County Fiscal Court to approve a bid award for Emergency Operations Center UPS replacement. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is required to approve of all bids for projects in accordance with Administrative Code, and whereas the bids were needed for Emergency Operations Center EOC UPS replacement, and whereas the bid notice was properly posted, and whereas one bid was received and has been opened and reviewed by Madison County Emergency Management Agency, EMA, Chemical Stockpile Preparedness Program, CSEP, and a member of Mission Critical. And whereas the EMA CSEP team recommends awarding the bid for the UPS replacement to Master Electrical Services Incorporated in the amount of $232,581.00 as planned and budgeted through the federal CSEP. Now therefore it be resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorize the Judge Executive and or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
You've heard Resolution 2023-104. What's the pleasure of the court?
Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion?
It looks like, Chief, that this is for a 30-minute backup. Is that correct?
Yes.
But it was expandable up to an hour if you chose.
We're looking at going with the 30-minute. I don't know if Chris is still in here or not. This is kind of a little bit his deal. But what this is a battery system from the time if the power goes out that covers, keeps everything up till the generator powers on. That way 911 doesn't lose, their system doesn't go down or anything. It keeps power in that. This is a battery backup system that covers that in the time that the power kicks off till the generator powers up and restores that power. You got anything you want to add on?
So this is upgraded system, is the system you have currently, is it just
It's into its
outdated?
lifespan.
Yeah. But what's the lifespan on this one, do you know?
It's probably about 12 to 15 years, Chris.
Well, didn't we have an issue here a few months ago where?
It was about a year ago. That it went out and lost power.
Yeah. And so you can imagine what that does to first responders.
Well, just like your computer, if power goes out and it kicks out, all of our 911 is generated through the computer system, and it takes all that time to reboot and get that back up and get it rolling and going again.
How many people do you have on site that's able to start those generators?
There's self-start, but everybody's trained in how to operate them. If something happens, they don't start on their own.
Good. All right, good questions, good conversation. Anyone else? We do have a motion and a second. Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Bakken?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Appreciate you, Chief.
Thank you, Chris.
Next, Resolution 2023-105 is a KCO 2023 Insurance Grant Application. Jill.
This is a resolution for application and administration of the 2023 KCO Insurance Grant Program funds. Whereas members of KCO Workers' Compensation Fund and the KCO All Lines Fund are currently being invited to apply for grants for future purposes designed to help members reduce losses in connection with either of these two insurance funds. And whereas eligible grant activities include purchases of equipment, training, and consulting services. And whereas these 2023 KCO insurance grants are limited to a maximum reimbursement of $10,000. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky, desires to make an application for the 2023 KCO Insurance Grant Funds fund programs to address the number of the following categories: slip, trip, and fall hazards, lifting injuries, auto accidents, jail operations, and cyber breaches. And whereas the County of Madison, Kentucky wishes to authorize the judge executive and/or his designee to make an application for the 2023 insurance grant funds, and if the application is successful, to enter into an agreement with CAECO to administer this award, to execute any documents which are deemed necessary to facilitate and administer this award, and to act as an authorized correspondent for this award. And whereas the 2023 CAECO insurance grant is a competitive program, and the amount of the grant funding Madison County will receive, if any, will not be known until the grant awards are made. Whereas Madison County will be required to contribute a 20% match to any grant awarded. Now therefore be it resolved on this 22nd day of August 2023 by Madison County, Kentucky, the judge executive and/or his designee is hereby authorized to execute and furnish all required documentation, including memorandum of agreements as may be required for the furtherance of the above referenced project, and to act as an authorized correspondent for said project.
Thank you, Jill. You all have heard Resolution 2023-105. What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion approved, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Was this a grant that we had in the past? This is a new grant?
So this is a new grant for the new year. We received this grant last year, and we have executed everything, and you probably remember seeing a photo here fairly recently where they brought us a check to reimburse us for these expenses. The last year, we actually purchased backup cameras for all of our fire equipment, as well as some of our road department equipment that's not equipped with that for our safe driving program. And so this year will be a new one.
Sometimes in the past, our firefighters like to hit our garage doors.
That happens.
They like to not open them sometimes, and so that was a good purchase last year.
Yeah.
But we've actually applied for this grant for several years. I think last year was kind of the first year we were actually successful in getting it.
I couldn't remember what was spending on was the.
Yeah, it was for the backup cameras.
And I think our team has some good ideas this year for some of the funds, and so we'll see what happens. Yeah. All right. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, Resolution 2023-106. This is official payroll breakdown for cost-shared county employees. A resolution for Madison County Fiscal Court approving an official payroll breakdown for Madison County cost-shared employees to comply with the Kentucky Emergency Management, KYEM, and Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, standard operating procedures. Whereas in order to comply with the KYEM and FEMA standard operating procedures, the Madison County Fiscal Court shall provide an official payroll breakdown for cost-shared county employees. And whereas the official payroll breakdowns for cost-shared county employees are attached here to this resolution. And whereas these payroll changes will become effective at the beginning of the current pay period, which began August 16, 2023. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county. Y'all have heard Resolution 2023-106. What's the pleasure of the court?
Make a motion, we'll approve it.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion?
We get some of these funds from CSEP.
That's what it is,
Right.
Steve. Yeah,
So-
there'll be a cost share. So each county employee that'll be part of this breakdown will get reimbursed a portion of their salary from CSEP program for projects that they're working on.
Is this just for one more year?
It'll be
When does it end?
whenever the program ends. And
It's
so,
gonna be several more years.
so there's
It'll be a few
no
more years. It's not
there's not a
this-
set date yet, but I mean they're throwing out estimates, but I think it'll at least be a couple more years.
And at that point.
And that's every payroll, you know, it's not just a one-time thing. This is, these, we've identified individuals, we'll use Jill as an example. A portion of Jill's salary will be reimbursed back to the county because of how much she's working on, a post-CSEP world, working on projects for CSEP that are still continuing.
But we have to be, at some juncture, we have to be willing to and able to take that over.
Absolutely, absolutely, sure. Yeah. Sorry, nobody hear you.
Patrick Lockmiller, just so you understand, some of that comes from the fact that Kentucky EM identified that we have a lot of county staff, and this was an advisement of them that are working on these projects. As our staff continues to decline, as far as we don't refill positions, that they will reimburse us for those roles that may not have been reimbursed for previously. And so because our staff numbers may be lower, they accommodate so much in payroll expenses. And so they recommend that people who are working continuously on these CSEP projects, that the county obviously get reimbursed for that work that's being done.
I mean, it's like Chris works so hard on like all of our 800 megahertz radio system, our sirens, this rave we just talked about today. I mean, he's kind of the brains behind that in the future, and so this is an opportunity to get a little bit of reimbursement back for him spending so much time on these specific projects.
But all of those salaries are budgeted, had already been budgeted in the county budget. Okay. It's just I think that's your point.
Yep.
We're already budgeting for those, and we expect that it costs us is kind of like a little bit of benefit that we're getting reimbursed for some of that we hadn't anticipated.
Thank you, Jill.
Jill, before you run off, is there not others that qualify for that, or is there like a total?
There's a total number of FTEs that are required based on what we have in full-time staffing at EMA CSEP and what specific projects and things that people are working on. So we do have to do time cards, and thankfully our staff who work diligently to do a separate time keeping system to make sure that we follow all of the federal laws associated with that. But we try to maximize as much as we can to get that reimbursement for the county. And that was something that Chief identified when he became EM director, that in some of his conversations with Kentucky EM, that's not something that we had been doing historically. And they identified also that they could see how much our team works to support that program, and those federal program dollars, that's what they're meant to be, is to support our team and the work that they're doing. And like Judge Taylor said, Chris is a great example. I mean, for 15 years probably, he's been working and supporting from an IT perspective that, and so this is an ability to get us a little bit of reimbursement for all the time and energies he spends beyond the scope of his regular duties supporting CSEP.
Is there a statute of limitations on this? Can we go back and?
Yeah, there is. Don't worry. We've explored that a little bit.
I wish we could.
Yeah, we have definitely explored that. But yes, there is a maximum. To answer your question, there is a maximum number of not only salary dollars, but that we can get reimbursed for. And then you all will see as projects come and go and transition, you may see this change from time to time, and that could be based on what current staffing is there, or replacement of positions, or projects ending, or things of that nature. So you will see this probably from time to time over the course of the next couple of years.
There will be probably a little bit of tough transition. I mean, at some point, because you're not going you lose an employee, it's going to be hard to hire somebody to say, well, we can only guarantee you this for another year or 6 months or whatever. And so some of this is going to have to transition over to existing staff. But any time that we can, anytime, let me start over. These are still tax dollars. Yeah. But any time that we can spread out this money over 350 million people paying taxes, right, in the United States, or 4.5 million people in Kentucky, then that saves our local tax dollars directly, right? And so it's a good opportunity for us to spread that out and save our local taxpayers some local dollars.
So hopefully at the end of the budget year, you're going to see some benefits of this in all of those salary line items, that we've been able to take advantage of this, just like in our 911 call center and other things.
And one thing I want to make note here too is that we can't look like this gives us extra money.
No.
Right. We have to look like this allows us to save more money than when this is over. Yeah. Right. Because we got to set this money back. Because what is the old saying? Well, I'm afraid to go that way because I'm afraid it might not be appropriate, so I better not. I'll ask you.
Go ahead. Coming.
Yeah. Go ahead and say it, and I'll tell you if it's appropriate.
No, please do not. No, please do not.
No, it's a good thing. So yeah. It's a good opportunity. Good questions. Good discussion. I love it. Anything else? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Lockmuller,
Yes.
Master Hughes,
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is personnel. Jill.
Yes, you all have a hiring recommendation form in your packets, and we're just asking for your approval.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Hughes,
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Lockmuller,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thanks, Jill. Next is judge's report. I do have several announcements. I'll try to make it as quick as I possibly can today. But Kentucky River Foothills has water and electric service funds available for those who need assistance. Income eligibility is 150% of the federal poverty guidelines. The funds will be available through September 22nd or until available funds have been expended. For more information, visit foothillscap.org or schedule an appointment at 859-544-1713. Again, you can schedule an appointment at 859-544-1713. We have a festival coming up this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. At the Old Richmond Mall, located at 830 Eastern Bypass in Richmond. It is the Bourbon Jam Outdoor Music Festival. I think this is the second year that they've done it. I think last year was the first year. Have a lot of great bands, a good opportunity to get outside. It might be a little bit of a hot one this year, so make sure that you drink plenty of water. The events will benefit our local first responders. So we obviously appreciate all of our first responders, but these funds that are generated will go to help them in different ways. The Battle of Richmond reenactment will be this Saturday, August 26th and Sunday, August 27th. Visit battleofrichmond.com or call 859-248-1974 for more information. The unveiling of the newest print about the Battle of Richmond, entitled Foreshadowing, will be conducted on the 161st anniversary of the battle, Wednesday, August 30th, at the Mount Zion Christian Church, beginning at 7 p.m. The church is located at 830 Battlefield Memorial Highway. Please join us for our District 3 Town Hall meeting at Union City Park. We are going to have this event outside under the pavilion there at the Union City Park at 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, September the 7th, 2023. This event is open to the public for community discussions. To Brian's point earlier, anybody's welcome. You can live in Valley View and still come to this one if you haven't been able to make other one. So please feel free to take advantage of our town hall meetings that we will have. They are public meetings. Again, that'll be on September 7th at 5:30 p.m. Anyone's welcome. All of our elected officials, I appreciate everybody's attendance at those. You know, it's kind of everybody started to come, and we are a good team, and we do really try to provide good services for our community. Madison Southern High School Band Competition and Vendor Fair will be Saturday, September the 9th at 11 a.m. Madison Southern High School's Air Force Junior or JROTC Golf Scramble will be Saturday, September the 9th at 9 a.m. Contact Scott Clark at 503-964-3910 or Chris Mason at 606-875-1588 for more information. We do have some brochures on that scramble. That will be at Battlefield Golf Course. But any local businesses, any individual citizen that can help support our junior ROTC at Madison Southern High School would be very much appreciated. Richmond Chamber of Commerce Annual City Fest will be Thursday, September 14th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. This is a partnership between EKU and the Richmond Chamber of Commerce. It is a good time to get to know folks and to a lot of students. You'll have an opportunity as a business to maybe recruit future employees. You can get a booth, and if you want a booth, contact the Richmond Chamber of Commerce. Madison County Government and its related offices will be closed on Monday, September the 4th. For the Labor Day holiday, we will reopen on Tuesday the 5th at 8 a.m. And then new outdoor warning sirens testing. And I might put Chief or Jill or Chris, somebody on the spot here in a minute, because I think it's important people to understand these things. But our new outdoor warning siren testing will be August the 24th and August 31st at 10 a.m. They will not sound if severe weather is expected. But we've got all new sirens throughout the county. And so these testings are going to be on those days. And so anybody watching, anybody that's here today, let's help get that information out to our citizens. We're going to continue to be marketing it, to making sure that when these tests are going on, the citizens don't get alarmed. But the more that we can tell, the better off we'll be from having negative comments or people getting kind of worked up. Chief?
One other thing about these sirens, they're not going to be like the ones we've had in the past. They're not going to talk. All you're going to hear is the wail or the tone, and that's all there's going to be. There's not going to be any communication coming across those like we have right now. And like I said, those start this week, and they've got, I think, 2 days this week scheduled. And depending on how that goes, that hopefully will wrap it up. But there may be some more coming up, but we'll try to get that out and get it posted to everybody so they know what's going on. But if there is a chance of severe weather, they will not be doing the test.
Right. Chief, what will happen with the units that we've got in the citizens' houses? Will they go along with that?
They should. It shouldn't affect those.
Shouldn't
This
affect
will just
those
be
at
the
all?
sirens.
Okay.
Yeah, outdoor.
I've got a question, Tim. Those new ones that were put up, how were the locations determined? Because they're not, all of them are not beside where the old ones were.
Yeah, well, we went from 96, I think, down to 72. I believe that's right. So they re-strategized that to get the coverage. They're not going to be in the same place. Some of them are at the same place. A lot of them aren't, because we reduced that number of sirens and still got the same coverage.
And so,
We were obviously trying to keep in mind the long-term financial impact to local tax dollars, right?
well, I figured there were improvement in equipment, but I've had that question because some people now have one in their backyard that didn't
Have
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
So
And not everybody's tickled to death about that, but hey.
they went from 30 foot tall. Tom, the sirens we had now in place, the 96, you're talking about, we're about 30 foot tall. These are actually 60 foot tall. So the radius is bigger because they're taller. And so, of course, it was all GIS. Is that not correct? Is that correct, Jill?
No, they're not 60.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Yeah, they're 60, right, Chris? Hey, look, people challenging me. They think I don't listen. I do listen. They're 60 foot, correct? The previous ones were 30, correct? Yep. So I'm getting a thumbs up. So obviously, and this was all GIS. This was all done mapped to how far the coverage goes, where the circles overlap each other, so that because we didn't want to have less coverage, right?
Yep.
That's what people are used to. So
The other question was about the voice. So is it just for this test that there won't be voice?
No, there
Or was
won't be any
for-
voice going
future?
forward at all with the new ones. They'll just be a tone only.
So people, I know of at least, there may be more than two, but I know of at least two tones. A steady tone is a natural disaster.
Yep.
So if there's a storm, it's a steady tone. If it's an act of war, it's a wavery tone. It's not a steady tone. And I'm not sure people know that.
Yeah, and once they get them tested, get them all in, before we move over on that system, I'm sure there'll be plenty of media be pushed out on them and the tones, and we'll probably have a day that we'll set each one of those tones and let everybody hear that and understand the meanings of those.
Judge, can you say those dates one more time that those tests are happening?
they are happening on August the 24th and August the 31st. And I'm assuming those are Saturdays. Are they Saturdays? They're not? Well, they're a week apart, so.
Yeah, I think they're
Thursdays?
Today's the
This
22nd,
week
so.
and next week.
Thursday.
So Thursday, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
Thursday.
And 10 a.m. was
10
the
a.m.
time? And the reason I raise that is my child has weather-related anxiety, and that's a school day. So if there's anybody in the school system that needs to prepare their classroom or the children that are in
Yep.
the classroom, that's just a test that everybody knows about, that
Yeah.
could be beneficial.
It's been distributed to the schools also.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like we've done our due diligence of getting that information out to all the different entities. Again, let's help spread the word, so that people understand it. But it's a good point, Brooke. Thank you. All right. Thank you all very much. That's the end of the judge's report. Moving on to comments from magistrates. Magistrate Combs.
I think we've had a great court today, and, oftentimes, fiscal court, we get to see the hard work that all the county employees do and kind of highlight it in the court. And, you know, just from my perspective, I see a culture of people that want to do things efficiently and save taxpayer money, and they're always looking to better things, and I appreciate that. Also, anytime that we can lower tax rates, whether it be this fiscal court or another taxing district, we applaud that, because, you know, all of us don't want to pay taxes, but, you know, a lot of times when people come to me and say they want to see that as a zero, you know, I also say we want nice roads, we want law enforcement, we want EMS, we want these things because that makes our county better. And anybody that has to use a service like that, ask them if they appreciate it when the ambulance shows up or the police department shows up and takes care of the issues that they have. We all want that. I've experienced medical myself, and you know, I didn't want to have to drive on a gravel road to get to the hospital. You know, those things are important to us, and it's important to our community. So we're thankful for all those. The taxing districts, when they can lower that, that's great, and we applaud their efforts. Other than that, Judge, I'm grateful to be here.
Glad you're here, buddy. Steve?
Yes, sir. Got a couple things. One, I want to bring up that I've had a young man, Landon Hanks, and I'm going to give him an A here live on effort and consistency and persistency of reaching out to me, and I've done a very poor job because I've been spending some time on the lake. But he's tried to get up with me, and he wants everybody to know about the 2023 Madison County 4-H Country Ham Dinner and Auction on September the 15th at the Madison County Fairgrounds. And he's a student at Madison Central High School, and he's in the 4-H. And I've not been to this event. I'm going to try to go this year if I can. But everything I hear, it's a great event. And
bring your checkbook.
I just want to give this young man some credit because he's been after me, and I like that in a person.
Yep.
So that's number one. Number two, Judge, and I meant to bring this up earlier, but I didn't, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. Is there a brief update on where we stand with the wet-dry situation in our county? I've not heard anything at all.
I was going to give you a little overview when we got to the.
Okay, so.
I do it now.
Oh, no, that's fine. Thank you, Bert. I'm finished. Yes, just happy to be here.
Glad you're here. Bill Wright?
Yeah, a couple things. I want to, got my buddy Shelby Rollins here. We started back in 1977 out there at Exide. We was two young kids, wasn't we? We had some.
He said still are.
Yeah, right. Well, but anyway, we grew up a lot out there and had some big times, and I'm glad to see Big Shield with us today. But, you know, some of my pallbearers is dying off on me, but you're still around, Shield. Well, you might get... Last week I went up there, stopped in one day at the Governor's Local Issues Conference, and they had a lot of good sessions. I was just there for one day, and I sit in on 3 or 4 different sessions. I wished I could have sit in on more because it looked like a lot of good stuff going on. But it was homelessness and affordable housing. It was with the Kentucky Housing Corporation, and there is an affordable housing crisis in Kentucky. And affordable housing contributes to homelessness. There's a lot of studies that's been done on that, and you know, we got a lot of development going on in the county, and how affordable is the housing that we are building. You know, what it comes down to is that affordable housing is not very profitable for the builders. You know, they like that, and so it's a tough problem. And this lady, the executive director, she's recommended that we need to cultivate manufactured housing. You know, that's affordable. And they want, what they want to do is they want to do a statewide study that will give an analysis by county of the housing needs, which I think is something be worth looking at, you know, because you got low-income housing, mid-income housing, you know, and just to be able to provide some kind of gap analysis of what is needed by county. I don't know how accurate that would be, but it is a big problem, not just in Madison County, but across the state. And they're talking about, they're in Hardin County where they're building the Blue Oval factory, the big battery. They're going to need like 5,000 houses in the next few years. 5,000. How many houses we build a year here, Bert? 300 or 400. Could you imagine needing 5? But it's statewide, and so you know it stuck with me, and I just wanted to mention that one session I sat in on the affordable housing problem.
Yeah. Anything else? You good?
Oh, good.
Good.
Just a comment about what he just said there. Last year, or maybe the year before, so this may be an ongoing project, but that Kentucky Housing Authority at one time was looking for contractors to build multi-units, apartments, and things like that. I don't know if that's programs. Did they mention that while they were up there?
I don't remember hearing that.
They're actually just a FYI for you all. They're actually a KHC project is actually going on in Richmond right now. There's a company out of Ohio called Wallach that does a lot of these affordable living type complexes, and this one is specialized to families. And sometimes they'll have senior living projects for affordable senior living and things like that. But this one is over on the corner of Killarney and Shamrock. If you turn down between the Shell and Cookout, and you go, you go past the storage units, there's a road to the left called Shamrock, and there's actually an affordable family living complex that's being built there right now, which is a KHC. If you go by there, you'll see the sign. It'll say Kentucky Housing, and it'll give all kinds of different entities that are involved in it on the actual sign that's there, the 4-bay sign.
I bring that up only to say that if you're a builder and that's your niche or something you'd like to get into, you can contact those folks for information on those programs. I want to just thank, I see our jailer is back today. It's good to see you in court with us, Steve. Thank you for your due diligence over at the jail. I see we spent $70,000 this month sending prisoners to other facilities. And so that's down from what we have had in the past. And I just appreciate everything that you're doing over there to keep those costs down and keep folks in-house and with staffing issues and other things. I appreciate what you're doing over there. Just want to let everybody know that I talked to Brandon over the state this morning. He said that they are scheduled to do a road repair over on Peggy Flats on Thursday in Brea. So if you're over in that area traveling back and forth, be careful for those folks. That may be extensive work over there. Let's see, Judge. Last thing I've got is my phone number. Anybody needs me, they can reach me at 200-9765.
Thanks, Tom. Counsel, you got anything?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Kenny? No, sir. No. You need poll workers.
Well, yeah, I always need poll workers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say that every court meeting. Yeah, we got elections coming up. Please call us our offices and volunteer.
Yeah. Steve?
Yeah, real quick, Judge. We had a major water problem at the jail this past weekend. We actually lost our main line into the building out on the First Street side. Really special thanks to Scott Shepard and his crew from the road department. They came up and brought equipment and supplies and fittings and all kinds of stuff. Stayed with me. We had a bump or two in the road, but man, what a great crew, and did a good job and would not leave until they were sure and certain that we had water in the jail and the jail's back in operation. I really, really appreciate it. And you and Kelly brought donuts, and that of course helped too.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody's help.
Made them a little sweeter.
You bet.
Yeah. they're a little sour group
I
sometimes.
do have a question about that. How does that happen with our upgrades? We just did $4 million worth of upgrades over to jail. How's that not? Can you just address how that piece wasn't part of that?
Well, that's just I'll just put on my construction hat here, Tom. So your main water, you have a water line that goes from the meter at the street inside the building to a shut-off.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't repair that unless it breaks.
So it was a main that broke?
So it was a main. And that's the response from the meter to the house, or from the meter to the building is the responsibility of the owner.
Yeah.
Anything on the other side of the meter would be the responsibility of the utility district. And so this was actually out where actually in the sidewalk, you go by there, there's still some caution tape up around it where they cut the sidewalk out. And it looked to me like they never put a kicker behind the water line. And so it hammered, anytime you put a 90 in it, it vibrates the water coming on and off. And it just broke there in that fitting. But they poured concrete behind it this time for a kicker. So, yeah.
That's probably only been in the ground, like 40 years there.
Well, it looked like it had broke before there, didn't it? Didn't it have some?
It had some
repairs there issues before. It looked like to me. So.
Yeah. But to address your concern, Tom, about the $4 million that was spent was basically on the utility systems of the building itself, HVAC and water and plumbing and electrical.
Security.
Yeah.
All right. Sheriff, you got anything? You good? Appreciate you. All right, department heads. Bert, I think you're going to come up and talk a little bit about
I want to give you all just a little quick update on where we're at on that, on the licenses. I checked yesterday. I don't think we've had any come in since then. We've had 3 quota license applications and 9 non-quota applications. So what this is going to look like, people thinking there's going to be a liquor store popping up on every corner, but you got your gas stations and your Ready Marts and your convenience store type situations, Dollar Generals, things like that. And we have some of those in the county that are all going to apply for, a malt beverage license. And then you'll have a few package stores sometimes in the same locations. But at the end of the day, anybody that wants to apply for a license still have to have the land, still have to have the building, still have to be properly zoned. I mean, zoning doesn't go away for all this. So you still have to be licensed and all those things to be granted one of those licenses. So we're processing those. I probably, hopefully, maybe today be able to approve my first one, certainly by the end of the week, because I know there's people waiting on those. We're working through the process. A big thanks to, obviously, to Chris and Morris at IT, because everything's online now. You just go to the website, click on, I can remember the wording at the top, business, maybe, and there's a drop down there. Right there it says apply for ABC license. So it's an easy process. We're working through some glitches in that just to make sure we've got everything we need. But those will probably be approved this week. I told Tom this morning, once that initial bunch, that initial group is done, then it's going to be very hit and miss when you get a new business that comes to town or somebody opens a new facility or a new store, then they're just going to be trickling in. So it's not going to be a lot more work on us in my office once we get over this first hurdle. And even it's not that big a deal. You're maybe doing a site visit, maybe checking some signage, making sure fees are paid, making sure applications are filled out right. Then I approve it. Once I do, it goes to the state, and the state still has to do their approval. And it's all online, so it's a pretty easy process. But
the two processes are a little bit in conjunction with each other, right?
They are.
You have a local and a state process.
Yeah. I have a login at the state level to check where they're at, and once I have an approve or deny. Once I approve it, it goes back to them, and then they can give that final approval.
And they actually have a site visit, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a process.
How do we find out, other than just driving eventually and seeing one open up? As a magistrate, I'd like to know before things happen in my district where it seems.
Come see me.
Come see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me a call.
I'm gonna see you after this meeting.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, I don't know it's appropriate to give out specific locations now because those applications haven't been approved and they're still in the process. But certainly once it's approved, I'm sure those businesses want to get the word out that they're doing that, so I don't think it'd be a problem.
And the second question, where we had a situation where we had a private entity up in the northern part of the county that had a country club and a golf course, and they were serving 6 days a week and wanted to be able to serve on Sundays. When is that? What?
It's the same process.
Same process.
It's the same process. It's a different license.
I mean, it seems like that'd be an easy, easy process.
It will be. It's in the queue. I know the one you're talking about.
Okay. Thank you, Bert.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm trying to process them as I get them, right? Because those quota licenses, they're limited. I don't think there's any danger of any of those, of us using all those up. But yeah, as those come in, I'm doing them as I get them. So I'm not pushing anybody to the front of the line or whatever. I'm doing them in the order I get them. So if you were first in line, you'll be the first one to get approved.
I've seen some notices in Richmond Register that intent to apply.
That's part of the requirement for the application, yeah.
So all of them will be in the paper.
They will be, at some point in that process, yes.
Yeah, that's part of the KRS.
That's right, yeah.
And I think you just mentioned that you're getting ready to approve potential first one.
Yeah, but then it still has to go back to the state.
Okay, that was my
And the
question.
state might tell you, well, I don't want to speak for them.
Right, but then it goes on to the state, and then they have a normal process that's, I've been over there before, so it's called slow, whenever they want to do it. I guess what I'm asking for is your gut feel, not your expertise. Are we looking at the fourth quarter?
No.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be anywhere near that. I think it's within the next month.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I was asking.
And the reason I say that is because they've already started that process with the state. So me doing my thing doesn't trigger them to begin. Actually, when I get their application, I have a copy of their state application attached to it. So they're well into the process.
Okay.
Once they're that far, it's probably just a rubber stamp.
I think that they've, in discussions I've been involved, they estimate on average about 60 days. Is that right, Jill? Yeah.
Yep. And with
that's
maybe just
everybody's process. That's for the time they do their thing.
Well, that's one of the more efficient ones that they have over there.
And maybe just a little bit longer because we're new and we're still learning our process and everything. But yeah, we're not that far out.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I got one more.
Sure.
I want to give an attaboy to not only to one of my people, but to a citizen. I know we like to do that sometimes. I had a lady call me, Janet Kane was her name. She called me, she said, Mr. Thomas, I know you're used to getting negative phone calls and complaints and people upset all the time. She said, that's not what this phone call is. She said, I'm calling to brag on one of your people. Vernon was working with her on a property maintenance issue and with her neighbors in her neighborhood. And she just said, we haven't resolved it yet, but he's been very professional, been very polite. He's followed up with me, kept me in the loop, let me know what's going on. And I just feel like you don't hear that very often, and I want you to hear it. So I feel like we hope and we thank our people out there, the ones that are dealing with the public every day and forward facing. We feel like they're doing the right thing, but it's nice to hear it from a citizen just randomly out of the blue.
Right.
So
it's genuine when it comes from that point of view.
What'd you say the name was, Bert?
I think she said her name was Janet Gain, but she knows who she is if she's listening. We had a good conversation, and I do appreciate. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
And I applaud you all as well too. That situation could have been worse than what it is, and it's gone.
We do have some successes. The problem is y'all don't usually see. In general, you don't see the successes. You see the horror stories. But I've got a stack of them over there that we actually. It works pretty good. It's just sometimes we have a tough one, but.
He does a good job over there too, Bert. I will comment on that. You got the right person in the right spot.
He's doing an outstanding job.
That can be a tough job, very challenging.
Yeah,
he does good.
There's some real places in Madison County, and when you get out of your county truck and you walk down some gravel road and you have to knock on somebody's door that's not mowing their yard, sometimes that's, and I always encourage them. I say, if you ever don't feel comfortable, we'll call the sheriff or we'll get somebody to go with you. But he's good. Some people can sell ice to Eskimos, right? They can just talk to people. Me, my background, I just blow up and tell you to do it. If you don't like it, But Vernon's not like that, right? Marty's another one that can talk to anybody. Yeah. And by the end of their conversation, they're thanking them for coming and telling them to mow their yard. That's just how they are. It's just their personality and the way they communicate with people. But you're right, he's good at it. He really is.
Well, Vernon came from sheriff's office, so.
He was deputy, yeah. He was a bailiff, yeah.
Yeah. So he had some good teachings there with, how to handle people and stuff.
Yeah.
So de-escalation classes, right? Yeah.
Called verbal judo.
I never had those classes.
It's called verbal judo.
Verbal judo.
That's right. You use somebody's stuff against them and get them going your way.
Yeah.
I never had those classes.
Yeah. Maybe you need them.
Maybe I do. Thank you all.
Appreciate you. Any other department heads? All right, and Chris texted me and said that we didn't have any Facebook comments today, so any audience comments? Anybody? All right, I need a motion and a second to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master, excuse me, Master Bakken?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes, next meeting will be September the 12th, 2023. It will be held in Berea City Hall. Again, that it will be September the 12th, 2023, Berea City Hall at 9:30 a.m. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Bakken?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Thank you all. Yes. Thanks everybody for being here.